A lot of folks say, hey, I just got a gas grill, but I love these smoky ribs that I'm eating here at your event. How do I do that at home? And I tell them, it's about the easiest thing you could do. So we got propane going. What we're gonna do on this 4-burner grill is actually only use the 2 on the left side. We're gonna leave the ones on the right off, and that's gonna create a 2-zone cooking grill space. So I'm gonna have this first one on full blast there, and the second one will go to more of a medium. Shut the lid, and we're gonna let that grill preheat. All right, so today we're gonna be doing a St. Louis trim spare rib. We like these because they got a lot more fat than a loin back or baby back rib. And the first thing I want to do is trim this rib to make sure that it's going to fit the grill that we're cooking on. So we got a nice thick end here and it kind of tapers off. We're going to take off that tapered side. And I'm just going to find a bone and use that as my guide. That way we're keeping our nice rectangle. And we're going to use a little bit of paper towel here to grab off the membrane. Now this membrane back here won't let any seasoning permeate or smoke really get in there, so I always like to take that off. And you're just gonna find a little bit of the corner, grab it with the paper towel, and if you're lucky, it'll come off in one big strip, just like that. If there's a lot of excess fat like this particular rack, I'm gonna go ahead and trim some of that off as well. We know fat is flavor, but we got a lot of it intermuscular anyway, so we're gonna have plenty of good flavor with these. Now, a lot of folks ask me about what kind of binder I use. These finely granulated seasonings just stick really well to the ribs as is. So what I tell folks is you just go real heavy on that, and whatever doesn't stick, you probably didn't need anyway. But if you like, you could use pickle juice, you could use mustard, you could use hot sauce, whatever your preference there. So feel free to get creative. We're gonna season it from a nice height there for an even distribution, and go all the way through the back, hit the sides. Just kind of make sure we got all the good seasoning there. We're gonna go nice and heavy here, again, knowing whatever doesn't stick to this rib, we don't need, and it's still gonna be well coated, well seasoned. And now she's all set for the grill. Now today we're using hickory brown sugar because we are cooking this on a gas grill. We're not gonna have as much smoke flavor as if you were using a Weber or an actual smoker. So we got a little trick that's gonna bring a little smoke into this recipe, but the hickory brown sugar is just gonna be a little extra cheat code for you. All right, so we got our gas grill preheated here. Right now we have it set to about 300 degrees. This dial's sitting up high, it's in the middle, so it's not exactly where we're gonna be cooking these. This might be a little bit cooler, but we've already got this burner turned off, so you got a nice cool zone on this side. We're not gonna have any direct heat. These burners are on, and that little trick to get a little extra smoke flavor, we're actually gonna use some wood chips. Now these are great for this little hack. Wood chunks, these are what I'd use maybe in a Weber, but for today, to get a little extra flavor, we're gonna make a little foil pouch with some hickory wood chips. I like using fruit woods, or hickory's a really good one too. Get a really nice color. We're just gonna kind of fold this up, and we're gonna go ahead and poke some holes so all that smoke can escape. And we're gonna put this directly on the burner that's gonna go ahead, that's on our highest heat. So we got one that's a kind of a medium heat here, one that's very low. These two off, and given enough time, these will actually combust. I don't do any soaking in water because we want a clean burning flame, and it'll give you your best quality smoke there. So we'll let these guys go for a bit and check on them in about an hour. All right, so now we're gonna get these ribs wrapped in foil. They've been smoking here for a little bit on the grill. And again, we want a nice little tight wrap that's gonna help kind of speed up the process and also tenderize there. So we got some good smoke coming off our little foil pouch there. We're looking for a good orangey kind of color. That's nice. The bones aren't sticking out too far yet. I actually put this pretty far up, almost a third of the way. And what that's gonna allow me to do is get a nice tuck under the front of those ribs so that that stays nice and tight. We have the meat side up. The bone concave kind of creates a little spot where some liquid can pool. Fold it up tight, and they're gonna go straight back where we got them from. And at this point, we're gonna let them go for about another hour, hour and a half. We really let the ribs tell us when they're ready. We want those bones to be shown about a ½ an inch. That's kind of a spot when you know they're gonna be nice and tender. At that point, we'll pull them out of the foil and get them sauced. All right, so our ribs are pretty tender now. We're gonna go ahead and take them out of the foil and re-solidify this nice bark that we built up, little crust. We got a nice mahogany color. These are gonna be hot. So we're gonna use some tongs here to assist. And we're just gonna set them right back on that grate. And then we have all this rib grease, which we're actually gonna mix into some of our sauce in a little while. Make that sauce real shiny, get a little extra pork flavor. So we're just gonna add about 3 tablespoons or so right there. You could save this for some cooking, do some veggies or some eggs. Just don't tell your cardiologist, and it'll make for some good eating. So we got our ribs back on. Gonna get them right back to where they were, get that outside nice and crusty. The reason we're doing that is if we were to start mopping sauce on right now, right after they come out, they're kind of steaming, everything's a little wet. We don't want to push and smudge all that nice bark that we just built up. So this will be a nice way to let that bark tack back up and then go ahead and sauce them until they're awesome. All right, so now we're gonna take our sauce, we're gonna add it to this nice beautiful rib grease here. Like I said, that's gonna impart some extra porky flavor and some really nice shine to the sauce. It's a little competition secret. So we got that in there. And we're just gonna gently mix that in. And now these guys are gonna be ready to baste. And on this, I like to be gentle. I'm almost gonna dab more than I'm gonna brush. So again, we wanna be kind of delicate with that nice bark we built up. Again, we're gonna have some really nice color on these with this hickory brown sugar sauce. This also thins out the sauce a little bit, so you don't have a thick sauce, just kind of a nice, light, shiny sauce. Those are looking good. So now we're gonna close the lid again, let them tack up. Next time we open that lid, we're gonna be pulling them off to cut them. You can say I've seen better days, but be amazing. All right, so these ribs have been sitting here for about 15 minutes. The sauce should be nicely tacked up. And we're gonna take them off, set them on the cutting board, let them rest, and then slice them up. You crazy and you say so, it's rock and roll, man. All right, as we slice these, I like to go right between these bones. You're gonna see some kind of hills and valleys. You're actually gonna aim for the higher parts of the meat. That's the spot between the bones. The depressed part is usually where the bone lies. These also usually tend to go at an angle, so you're always gonna wanna kind of adjust as the bones turn on you there. All right, so slicing right between. Yep. And if you ever get to a point where you can't see them, just give them a little flip over. I like to still cut them with the meat side up so you don't ruin that nice looking glaze that we work so hard to build. And again, if you overcook your ribs, these are gonna be falling apart. You won't really get a straight cut. So we like where these are at here. All right, so we'll look at these. We got a nice juicy rib there. Still got some good juices in there running out. Nice and tender and ready to get eaten.